Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome live here on the WHS Network here on YouTube.com. As always, I'm Brandon Morvillas. Alongside here with me is cameraman Jordan Redbeard here this evening with our 2020 IHSAA Class 2A Lift Semi-State Preview Show. Again, something we always like to do. We've done it now for the last couple of weeks and what we've done for the last few years as well. Just a little bit of an insight here this evening. Big semi-state coming up tomorrow night. And had to wait actually to do our preview show because we had to wait for the stats to update for both teams. More for Fairfield. Again, really looking forward to a great matchup here. Now, I will say that originally we were supposed to play our semi-state up at Huntington North just a couple days ago. They moved it to Logansport High School. So those of you that haven't gotten that information yet, there you go. The Logansport High School, we went from about an hour and 15-minute drive to about an hour and 45-minute drive. But we're happy to do it because that means we're still in the state tournament and hopefully we can prevail from there. But when you look at this semi-state here, Wapahoney, again coming off of that Regional 10 championship victory over the Madison Grant Argyles, and what was a fantastic matchup there between two teams that earlier on in the season went 5 sets. Your Raiders came into the night, I'm sure, kind of remembering that game a little bit. But the Raiders handled the Argyles there in that one in straight sets, 25-8, 25-17, 25-3, to again claim that Regional 10 championship crown from Elwood High School. And then when you look at the flip side of things, there were the Fairfield Falcons. They had some very tough opponents in their regional, and that was held at LaVille, Regional 9, in which they defeated Andrean, and then end up going on to defeat Rochester. And so, two very, very impressive victories there for Fairfield last Saturday. Now, in that championship game, they defeated Rochester 25-12, 25-21, 25-23. So, again, you look at the record here, 20-14, Wapahoney 27-5. Obviously, maybe the record isn't, quite like what everyone else's is this time of the year.
They're doing something right if they've got
these Falcons are definitely doing something right, and they have majority of their team back from last year, which Wapahoney and Fairfield faced off in that semi-state game last year up in Plymouth, and the Raiders were able to win that one. But this obviously being a brand new year, whole variety of things going on that are much differently than what it was last year. These, to say the least. Yeah. It's not been ideal for anyone, but really for both teams to continue to stay healthy and do go about the things the right way says a lot about the programs and the schools and the kids themselves and the coaches for both teams to keep their players heading in the right direction and making sure they're doing the things they should be doing. But now, when you look at these two teams, again, we'll take a look here at some team stats. When you compare the two, Fairfield, Wapahoney, obviously a little bit different here with some statistical categories. Now, Fairfield has played 34 games. Wapahoney has played 32. But Wapahoney edges them out nearly in every statistical category here. You look at kills, Wapahoney with 1,254 kills on the season, Fairfield with 929. Again, that is with Fairfield playing, 2 more games than what Wapahoney has. Hitting percentage also 226 for Wapahoney, 168 for Fairfield. And the blocks right about the same right there, 155 for the Falcons, 149 for the Raiders. And then lastly here, a couple of other ones here. We have digs, 1,426 for Fairfield, 1,627 there for Wapahoney. And then I threw these two statistical categories in here because I think they're extremely important. Serving errors and serving aces. Serving errors a big thing to really look at here because obviously you're talking about giving free points away. Fairfield has done it a lot more than what Wapahoney has. With 155 compared to Wapahoney's 125. Serving aces, Wapahoney clears them out by 52 with 286 compared to Fairfield's 234. So again here, it's something that I think is so important to the game, because we've seen last Saturday even, for instance, Wapahani right out of the get-go really didn't serve that well there in the first game. Through the first 3 or 4 sets there, he was really struggling from behind the service line, but then we got it back going again. And it wasn't like we was completely terrible, but you can't, unfortunately, you can't give away free points, and especially in state tournament time, you got to take advantage at every point possible and every opportunity possible, and South Adams was able to do that at times in the first game. Second game also, when you look at Madison Grant, I thought really we did a solid job from behind the service line, did what we had to do, kept the ball inside the lines and made the defense play, and we was able to execute on a lot of great opportunities, had some aces, again, made the defense play, and then that's where Madison Grant kind of fell off, and the Raiders were able to take advantage and continue the momentum as the game went along here. But those two things more importantly that I like to look at there with errors, aces, and just making the defense play. So hopefully the Raiders can keep trending there in the right direction when it comes from behind the service line, because we really did a much better job towards the end of that championship game on Saturday. But now you look at Fairfield here, again, a couple of ladies that we'd like to take a look at here, and in which, Wapahani, we're not going to talk about them. You obviously know who who they are, what they're capable of, how they play, and all of that, but we don't want to give any secrets away. We want to talk about Fairfield, kind of expose them a little bit, and some key players to really look at, and the first one is Madison Steele here for Fairfield. A young lady with 296 kills on the season, leading the team in that statistical category and nearly every category. Has a 291 hitting percentage, also 34 aces, 101 blocks to go along with 96 digs and 7 assists. So again, that's probably the biggest key player to watch for when you look at Fairfield. Madison Steele, remember her last year, she played a key factor. I don't expect that to be any different this year. Hopefully Wapahani is able to minimize her in the ball game come tomorrow evening. Next up here we have Kayla Miller, 258 kills on the year with a 176 hitting percentage, also 40 aces, 30 blocks, 268 digs, and 36 assists. So again, that is Kayla Miller here for the Falcons, again second on the team in kills. Then we have Bria Garber, another young lady, over 200 kills with 213 of them, a 167 hitting percentage, to go along with 44 aces. Obviously doing her job from behind the service line, her and Miller both leading the team in serving aces on the season. Again, with Garber right behind, or following the aces, you have 45 blocks, which is also second on the team. 233 digs and 10 assists. And then finally here, the last two girls really want to focus on here for Fairfield is Sydney Stutzman. She has 36 kills on the year, a 192 hitting percentage, 41 aces, also 28 blocks, 215 digs, and 759 assists. Obviously, she's the disher outer to all these fantastic hitters that Fairfield has. Obviously, it does a really nice job from behind the service line as well, so not only sets her girls up to be successful, but then can take the ball into her own hands and do her thing from behind the service line. Also has 36 kills as well. And then finally here, Kate Mcguire, 21 aces, 191 digs, 8 assists, more like a defensive specialist kind of player that you really take mention of there when you look at this Fairfield Falcons volleyball team. So again, those are the 5 that, again, was that I really paid close attention to. Some, from watching some video footage and then some stats that I took off of maxpreps.com. Those are the biggest key players that we've got to watch out for come tomorrow night. And if we're going to be successful, we've got to minimize the damage and continue with the good ball control. I thought we really did a solid job last Saturday. Some of the best passing we've had all season. Now, sure, you're going to have your hiccups from time to time, but I think really overall our defense is really what won us the ball games. Because obviously we have the hitters to be able to go out there and battle with the best of them. But defensively, if you're not solid and if the blockers aren't doing their job, trying to close up the seams as much as possible, where it kind of, takes a little bit of that pressure off our back row players, if we can do that, and I think we'll be very successful come tomorrow night. But, I think along with that, communication, I thought our communication was really good. Yep. Intensity, we brought it. I talk about that all the time and how it's so important that we're not taking a point off. You've got to bring the intensity, bring the enthusiasm every single point, because you never know what can happen. 1 point can dictate or change the whole complexion of a ball game. Yeah, and so, I thought we really did a very good job of that last Saturday. Again, hopefully that translates and turns over into tomorrow night's game. Again, for Logansport High School. Again, I did also want to touch on, which you'll see here on your bottom of the screen here in just a moment. We will not be broadcasting the ball game tomorrow night, unfortunately. The IHSAA will have coverage of that, so you can go to IHSAATV.org to watch that game. Now, you do have to pay a fee for it. For one game, it's $14.95. But for all the games, including ours, and all over the state of Indiana, it's $19.95. Which, again, you're going to see that information here in just a second. But I wanted to make sure and relay that information, all you fine folks out there. It doesn't have anything to do with us not wanting to broadcast. It's just the IHSA.
We do it if we could.
Yeah, if we could do the game, obviously we would. But the IHSA has exclusive video rights, and they've chose to exercise those rights for tomorrow night's ball game. So can't do anything about it. But we're looking forward to a great ball game. Hopefully all of you are as well. And hopefully you can root your Raiders on to a victory come tomorrow night from the 2A North Semi-States. Logansport, again, is your 27-5 Wapahani Raiders take on the 20-14 Fairfield Falcons. So, folks, until then, again, we greatly appreciate you all for continuing to watch us and support the volleyball team. It means a great deal to us, and hopefully we'll be back next week for
a state preview show.
for a state preview show. We don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, but good luck to the girls. We'll be rooting you on. We're going to make the travel on up there to Logansport, so make sure to watch on our Twitter and Facebook pages. We'll have updates throughout the ball game on there, and stats and all the up-to-date information. So again, thanks all for watching, and until next time, I'm Brandon Morvillis alongside cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy, saying good night here on the WHS Network.